Now we shall prepare the starter, the hors d'oeuvre.
Okay.
That was a recipe of fishermen's. They used for that recipe all the fish that they don't sell at the market.
Okay.
So you can mix different white fishes, and you use always the fillets.
Okay. Very cool.
Today it's turbo, and I cut the fish in small cubes like that.
Okay.
I mix it with around 6-7 tablespoons of olive oil.
Okay.
And around one small teaspoon of ground pepper.
Okay.
That way, to put the fish in the olive oil was to preserve the fish in the past. And like that, the fish is a little bit pre-cooked by the olive oil, by the acidity of the olive oil also.
Okay.
Now, on very high heat, we shall cook completely the fish. We shall saute it to have something dry and flaky.
Okay. And now, how long do you put it on the high heat?
Around 5 minutes.
Okay.
It depends of the fish that you use, but around 5 minutes.
Okay.
It's very rapid.
Okay.
And now we shall prepare. It's not a sauce, it's not a stuffing, you will see.
Okay.
It's something that we shall mix with the fish after.
Okay.
We need lemon, 2 lemons. We peel them. And like for the orange, you peel them like that, you know.
Okay. Okay, so you're using the whole peel of the lemon.
Yes, and we don't use the center.
Okay. So 2 whole peels.
Yeah. It's possible, if you prefer, to mix 1 orange and 1 lemon. Organic, of course.
Okay.
Many people use it like I prefer just with lemon.
Right. Okay.
Don't use limes, it's too strong.
Okay. So only lemon, maybe some orange.
Yeah. Now I shall chop them.
Okay, so once again, cutting it very, very thin, very small.
You can grate them also if you want.
Okay. Now, lemons are one of my favorites. Just the flavors they have, and they smell great.
And in that recipe, the lemon will stay raw. We don't cook it.
Okay. So then you really get the flavors.
Yeah. We shall mix lemon, garlic, and parsley, and like that, the garlic will be the very strong flavor of the garlic will be stopped by the lemon and the parsley, and it's very light.
Okay. And now, is that combination common in French cooking or common around the general area? Okay.
Yes, really. It's especially French and Provençal. Parsley, lemon, and garlic.
Okay. So would you say there are some basics to go to if you weren't sure what to make?
Sorry?
Are they basic ingredients you would use if you weren't sure what to cook for dinner, or
in the normal way, that was the main dish.
Okay.
And many people add to have something more big, boiled potatoes or boiled chickpeas, for instance. But for a starter, it's really very good, just like that.
Right.
Give a look to the fish.
All right, and this smells great as well. So definitely make sure you keep an eye on what you're cooking while you're doing all of these other things, just to make sure nothing's catching on fire, nothing's smoking, anything like that.
If you want, it's not traditional, of course, but you can put all the ingredients in a food processor and mix.
Okay. But the traditional way is really doing it all yourself, not taking the easy way out.
But to be honest, when I do it for me at home, I use a food processor.
I'm sure it saves on time if you're rushing. And then how much garlic are you using after you cut
The normal way is 1 clove per person.
Okay. So that's
So
that's a
today
good measurement.
For that quantity, we shall, oh yes, 6 cloves. And of course, you can adapt after to your own taste. But garlic is important in that recipe.
Absolutely.
And the mixture of garlic and parsley is very healthy. When it's finished, this recipe is looking a little bit like the Lebanese tabouleh.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Because full of parsley.
Now, are there any substitutions for parsley, or are you definitely always going to use the parsley?
No, parsley is very important.
Okay. And also, do you have any tips? I see you are cutting it so finely. I've been mentioning that. Do you have any tips for someone who's not used to doing so much cutting?
It's not so easy. Okay. Now, garlic.
Okay, so you said six cloves?
Yes.
Okay.
First you peel them, of course.
Now, have you ever used like a garlic press or something that automatically minces the garlic, or you always like to cut it yourself?
Myself. It's so rapid to do them.
And I'm always interested to see how garlic is minced. We had a previous episode actually about mincing garlic, but and especially for our viewers out there.
The normal way when you really cook, as in Provence, is to mince it in quite big pieces. You know?
Okay.
But that depends also, it's like you want after.
Okay.
That. Perfect. Now we shall take a dish to mix everything. A look to the fish. It's coming. You see, it's beginning to be flaky.
Okay. And so remember, the flakiness is that texture that you're looking for.
Yes, it's very important. Oops. Now, like that, and we have around 1.5 cup of breadcrumb.
Okay, breadcrumbs. And then what type of breadcrumbs are you using?
It's really like you want.
Okay.
You can use dry bread that you crush. You do like you really like you want.
Okay.
In the past, that was really dry bread grated, you know. But now it's not. It's not really important. It's just for the consistency of the last moment.
Okay.
Now, we shall put black olives. Those ones are pitted, but it's like you want.
Okay.
Around half cup.
Okay.
Mix.
And so what do the olives do with this recipe?
That gives some salt to the recipe and their flavor to the fish also.
Okay. And are there any other type of olives you've used in this recipe, or the taste of black olives?
It's very important to use black olives, of course.
Okay.
But prepared in olive oil, not in brine.
Okay.
Because in brine they are too wet and salty.
Okay.
If you use olive oils in brine, you wash them and you dry them with a paper.
Okay.
And after it's the same thing.
Okay.
Now some salt. We shall taste in it.
Okay, so it looks like this is cooked down very nicely.
Yeah. Shall taste of the salt. A bit more. Taste. It's okay. You stop the gas, the stove.
I have it.
Thank you. We pour that mixture on the
Okay,
fish.
pour right in.
And we mix. Perfect.
Okay, so I see you're doing this pretty gently.
Yeah. And now we shall add the parsley. It's important to use Italian parsley. In French we say flat parsley. And a huge quantity of parsley with the stems, because they give a lot of flavor and vitamins.
Okay. So you're using the whole bunch?
Yes.
Okay. And I guess, again, you definitely have to have the fresh parsley for a meal like this.
It's very important.
This recipe doesn't seem too bad either. We have the fish, some black olives not in the brine. We have lemon, we have the garlic, the parsley, a little bit of pepper, the olive oil. So that doesn't seem too bad. Now, is this something that will be in your cookbook as well?
Yes, of course.
Okay. And is it another very traditional meal?
Yeah. That recipe is really completely Finnish. I never see it anywhere.
And now, why do you think that is?
Because that was recipes of very poor peoples, you know. And after, slowly, that was forget, and now a very old lady in Marseille tell me that recipe.
Oh, wow.
And I tried, because she just tell me, you know, I don't sew, and I tried to do it, and that was very easy.
I mean, it smells fantastic as well. Okay, and it seems like a very easy way to cut the parsley as well.
For lemon, garlic, and breadcrumbs, you can use a food processor. For the parsley, it's better to finish with a knife.
Okay. And now, is this easier than using a cutting board? It seems like easier to keep together.
Yes, it's really easier like that.
Okay. So that's a cool technique to remember.
It's strange because if a chef do the same thing, he will always use something like that. But the real old way to do it is like that, with the fingers. Now we shall try to mix everything and it will be finished. And you always serve that recipe at a room temperature.
Okay. And now, is this a recipe that if you didn't eat it all, you could save for later in the refrigerator?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yes. For around 3 days, you can keep it.
Okay.
So now, that will be the worst. Perhaps I shall use something else.
Okay, so once again, I see that you're very gently mixing this together. And you can really smell that parsley in the meal.
Sometimes when people prepared too much fish like that, after they made a pie.
Okay.
They prepare a dough like for bread, and a simple pie, you know, in a dish, a slice of dough, that mixture, another slice of dough, and they bake it. It's really very good.
Okay.
Et voilà, it's finished.
Very good. And you can see the colors coming from this too are great. This looks like a beautiful dish. All right, well, everything is finished.
Yeah, that was very rapid, you see. This is, the poisson à la marseillaise, because it's coming from Marseille. Les alouettes sans tête, because it looks like a small alouette. And that recipe, the name is very funny because it's called triomphe, like a triumph. And it's also coming from Marseille.
Okay, very nice. Well, thank you so much for
You're
joining
welcome.
us today.
That was a pleasure, really.
It was fantastic food here, and we'll see you next time on Domestically Challenged.